The Salt Glass House. Rowan Hale. I don't offer my name. He already used it. That's the first wrong thing in a list that is growing quickly. How did you get in? Door was open. It wasn't. A faint shift in his mouth. Not a smile. A recognition. Then someone opened it, he says. And you thought. What? That I'd invite strangers in after hours? I keep my pepper spray hidden in the drawer, but my fingers hover near the handle. I'm not naive. I'm just tired of living. As if danger is always a possibility. Tonight, it is. Rowan's eyes flick to my drawer. Just a flick. Like he's watching the whole room at once. You can put your hand where I can see it, he says, gentle as a blade. I'm not here to hurt you. I laugh once, short and humorless. That's what everyone says right before they do. His gaze doesn't waver. No. The people who hurt you don't warn you. My throat closes around air. There are 1,000 ways that could be a lucky guess. There are also ways it can't. I don't know you, I say. I know. He steps closer, slow enough to be polite, close enough to make my skin try to crawl away from itself. He places an envelope on the edge of my desk, careful not to touch the old letter I'm working on. The envelope is new. Thick, expensive paper. My name is written on it in black ink. Mara Cade. No address. No stamp. It's been waiting for me here. Where did you get that? I ask, and I hate that my voice is smaller. It was left for you, Rowan says. At your apartment building. The lamp hums. The sea wind clicks against the windows. The building feels suddenly too open, like the walls are suggestions. Why are you bringing it to me? I ask. Because I intercepted it. My stomach drops. You what? I saw it being delivered, he says. I took it. You stole my mail. I prevented you from opening it alone. The audacity is so clean it almost passes for virtue. I push back from the desk, stand. The chair legs scrape. Get out. Rowan doesn't move. Not until you read it. My pulse bangs against my ribs. I'm not reading anything from someone who breaks into my workplace, I say. I didn't break in, he replies, infuriatingly calm. And you're going to read it. Because whoever wrote it knows your routines. No. His gaze sharpens. Mara. The way he says my name is wrong. Not because it's intimate, because it's accurate. Like he's been saying it silently for longer than this moment. I reach for the envelope. Not because he told me to. Because my fear has teeth and it's biting from the inside. My fingers slide under the flap. The paper resists for a second, then gives. Inside is a single sheet. No greeting. Just a sentence in the same clean black ink. I like how careful you are, but you've missed me. A second line beneath it. Check your window. Left side. 3rd floor. 9:17 p.m. I look up at the clock on the wall. 9:16. Rowan watches my face change, and his expression does something almost human. Don't, he says softly, and I don't know what he means until my body obeys him. I don't turn toward the window. I stay facing him, like he's the only thing between me and whatever is outside. 9:17 arrives like a held breath. Rowan moves. He crosses the room in 3 steps and kills the lamp with a flick of his fingers. The office drops into dim grey, lit only by the city bleeding through the tall windows. He reaches the blinds and pulls them down in one smooth motion. The sudden darkness makes my heart stutter. You were going to look, he says, not accusing. Stating. Who are you? I whisper. Rowan stands with his back to the window, making himself a shield I didn't ask for. Someone who noticed you were being watched, he says. Before you did. Chapter 2 Rules of Engagement. He doesn't sit. He doesn't relax. Rowan stays standing, head slightly tilted as if listening to a frequency I can't hear. I should call the police. That's what a reasonable person does. But my phone is on the desk, and my reasonable brain has been pushed into a corner by the part of me that knows police reports are paperwork, not protection. What do you want? I ask. To keep you alive, Rowan says. Then you can start by leaving. His eyes lower, briefly, to my hands. Then back to my face. You live alone. My stomach knots. Stop. You take the stairs every morning at 7:40, he continues, and I hate the steadiness of his voice. Like his reciting inventory. You buy coffee at Harrow and Pike on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You sit by the window. You wear headphones but you never play anything because you like the excuse not to talk to anyone. My mouth goes dry. It's so specific that denial feels childish. You followed me, I say. I observed you, he corrects, as if the difference matters. It does not matter what word you use, I snap. It's still stalking. A pause. Rowan's gaze holds mine. Yes. The honesty hits harder than excuses would. Why? I demand. His throat shifts, like he swallows something he doesn't want me to see. Because someone else started first. And you thought the solution was to what, outstalk them? My laugh is a shard. Congratulations. You win. Rowan's expression tightens, but he doesn't rise to it. That's another kind of control. He gestures toward the envelope. Do you have anyone who would send you something like that? No. Any ex? He asks. No. Any clients angry with you? He tries. I restore paper, I say, incredulous. I don't ruin lives. Rowan looks at my desk, at the old letter I'd been working on. His gaze is careful around it, like he understands its fragility. Sometimes, he says, people ruin their own lives. And they blame whoever was nearest when it happened. I don't like the way his words land like a warning about something I haven't remembered yet. I force myself to breathe. You can't just decide you're my bodyguard, I say. I didn't decide, Rowan replies. I was hired. My eyes narrow. By who? The museum board, he says. I blink. That's not funny. It's not a joke. The museum board is a collection of careful smiles and donor lists. They don't hire men who move like shadows. They hire lawyers. Insurance. Security cameras that don't work. Rowan seems to read my disbelief. They received a message, he says. About you. About an artifact in your care. I go cold. In our back vault, temperature controlled, access restricted, we have a collection. We don't advertise. Private donations. Things with questionable provenance. Things wealthy families want hidden but not destroyed. What message? I ask. Rowan's jaw flexes. A demand. They want you to return what you stole. I didn't steal anything, I say, too quickly. I catalogue what they give me. Rowan watches the way my body betrays me. Tell me about the Saltglass House, he says. My throat tightens. Who told you that name? He doesn't answer, which is an answer. The Saltglass House is a local legend dressed up as an address, a mansion on the Cliff Road, all windows, built by a shipping magnate who went insane after his wife vanished. People say you can still see lights moving inside on storm nights, like someone is pacing. It's nonsense. Except 2 weeks ago, a donor brought in a trunk from an estate sale. Inside was a ledger wrapped in oilcloth, and beneath it, a small velvet box containing a ring, antique, heavy, with a piece of sea glass set like a gem. The moment I touched it, I felt watched. Not by a ghost. By history, impatient. I didn't tell anyone that part. I don't know anything about that house, I lie. Rowan's gaze is steady. You're good at lying. You're better at fear. Anger flashes hot enough to burn through my panic. You don't get to speak to me like you own me, I say. His eyes darken. I don't. Then, quieter, but someone wants to. Silence thickens. Outside, the wind rises. The building groans as if it's remembering it was made of wood and old ambition. Rowan reaches into his pocket and pulls out something small. He places it on my desk. A key. Bronze, old, worn smooth on the edges. On its bow, a tiny etched symbol, a circle with a vertical line through it, like a lighthouse drawn by someone with shaky hands. My skin prickles. What is that? I ask, though I already feel the answer forming. Rowan says, the key that matches your ring. My breath catches. I don't have a ring. His gaze drops, not to my hands, to my throat. My fingers rise without permission. Touch the chain beneath my collar. The ring hangs there, hidden under my sweater. I never told anyone I kept it. Rowan watches my face, and the softest thing in him sharpens into certainty. Now, he says, voice low, you're going to tell me why. Chapter 3. The thing I didn't steal. I should deny it. I should rip the chain from my neck and throw the ring at him and scream until the building wakes up and the night guard comes running. Instead, my fingers curl around the ring through my sweater like it's a heartbeat I can control. I kept it because it felt wrong to lock it away, I say finally. Rowan's eyes narrow. Wrong how? Like it didn't belong to the museum, I say, frustrated with my own vagueness. Like it belonged to someone who would come looking. Rowan's mouth twitches, not quite a smile. And you were right. My anger returns, aiming for something solid. You said you were hired by the board, I say. Why are you interrogating me in my office after hours like a predator? He offers, mild. I stare. Rowan leans a fraction closer. You're thinking it. I'm thinking you're dangerous, I say. I am, Rowan agrees. To the people who want you harmed. That's a very convenient distinction. His gaze holds mine. It's the only one that matters. I hate how my body reacts to him, how my pulse doesn't only feel fear. There's something else threaded through it, something shameful and electric. The awareness of being seen, chosen, singled out. It makes me furious with myself. Okay, I say, voice controlled. Assume I believe you. What happens now? Rowan exhales like he's been waiting for that question. I need you to do something, he says. No. You don't know what it is yet. It doesn't matter. His eyes flicker. Stubborn. Alive, I correct. Rowan's voice turns careful. There's a second letter. My blood goes cold. Where? In your apartment, he says. On your kitchen counter. I stare at him. You've been inside my apartment. Rowan doesn't flinch. Yes. My voice cracks. Rage surges, bright and shaking. You broke into my home. I picked the lock, he says, as if it's a point of etiquette. My hands curl into fists. Get out. Rowan doesn't move. You don't get to protect me by violating me, I say, and the word lands heavier than I intended. My throat tightens. You don't get to make me feel unsafe so you can be the only safe thing in the room. For the first time, something like regret crosses his face, fast, chased away by resolve. You're right, he says. The admission disorients me. Rowan steps back, giving space like he's paying a debt. I shouldn't have gone in alone, he continues. But I did it because if the person writing to you wanted inside, they'd already been. My stomach drops. I didn't touch anything I didn't have to, he adds. I left it the way it was. Except the letter. I read it. My vision narrows. You read my... I read a threat, Rowan says, voice sharpening. And I'm going to tell you what it said. I swallow hard. My pride wants to refuse. My survival wants to listen. Rowan's gaze is pinned on mine, like he's trying to keep me upright through sheer will. It said, he begins, that you're going to bring the ring and the key to the Saltglass house on the next storm night. A shiver runs through me. That's tomorrow, I whisper. Because the forecast has been screaming it all week. Gale. Warnings, coastal flooding, the kind of storm that rearranges shorelines. Rowan nods. And if you don't? He doesn't finish. He doesn't have to. Threats don't need creativity. My hands shake. I flatten them on the desk, grounding myself in wood and paperwork and the illusion of order. You think whoever this is will hurt me, I say. Rowan's voice is low. Yes. And you're going to stop them, I say, more accusation than question. Yes. By taking me to a haunted mansion in the middle of a storm, I say. That's your plan. Rowan's eyes darken. Not haunted. Right, I mutter. Just full of people who leave anonymous letters and break into apartments. A beat. Then Rowan says something worse. I'm taking you there, he says, because they're expecting you. And because I want them to believe you're alone. My heart slams. Absolutely not. Rowan's gaze holds mine, unwavering. If you don't go, they'll come to you again. But next time they won't leave paper. I force air into my lungs. You can't guarantee my safety, I say. No, Rowan agrees. I can promise my focus. That's not comforting. It's terrifying. Focus like a spotlight. Focus like a hunter. And what do you get out of this? I ask quietly. Why do you care? Rowan's silence stretches long enough to become its own answer. Then, softly, because you don't know what you're holding. My fingers tighten around the ring beneath my sweater. Rowan's gaze follows the movement. Something in him shifts, an intensity that makes my skin feel too thin. He notices. He steps back again, as if restraining himself is a physical act. You should pack a bag, he says. And you should stay somewhere you're not alone tonight. I'm not going with you, I say. Rowan's eyes lift to the blinds covering the windows. Then you're going with someone else who can keep you safe. Like who? I demand. Rowan's gaze returns to me, steady, dangerous. Like me, he says. Chapter 4. Consent with teeth. I leave the archive with my keys between my fingers, a ridiculous weapon, and Rowan walking a respectful distance behind me as if he understands that proximity is a kind of pressure. The parking lot is empty except for my car and an unremarkable black sedan that looks like it belongs to nobody. The air smells like rain waiting to happen. I stop by my driver's door and turn to face him. The security lights make his shadows sharp. Here are my conditions, I say. Rowan's brow lifts slightly. Conditions. Yes. I swallow. If I'm going to be forced into this situation, then you do it my way. I'm not forcing you, he says. I give him a flat look. Rowan's mouth shifts, conceding without words. Condition 1, I say. You don't enter my home again. Ever. Unless I say so. Rowan nods once. Agreed. Condition 2, I continue. No touching without permission. His gaze drops to my mouth, just for a second, like his body betrays him in a way mine has. Betrayed me. Agreed, he says, voice rougher. Condition 3, I say, pulse loud. You tell me everything you know. No more half-truths. Rowan's expression turns thoughtful. Some truths are sharp. Then I'll bleed, I say. But at least it'll be mine. A pause, and something almost like approval crosses his face. Agreed, he says. I exhale shakily. Where are we going tonight? Not your apartment, he says. Mine. My stomach flips, half fear, half something. I don't want to name. No, I say. Rowan tilts his head. Hotel, then. You're paying, I snap. Rowan's gaze flickers, amused. Agreed. We drive in separate cars. I don't know why that matters, but it does. It gives me the illusion of choice. The hotel is downtown, clean, anonymous, too bright. Rowan checks us in with a name that's probably real and a credit card that definitely is. He gets 2 rooms adjoining. You're not staying with me? I ask, suspicious. Rowan hands me a key card. You wanted boundaries. I did, I admit, and my cheeks heat because the truth beneath that is messy. Part of me wanted to see if he'd push. Rowan's gaze catches the heat and doesn't look away. And I want you to sleep, he says. Not spend the night trying to decide if you should be afraid of me. My pulse stutters. That ship sailed, I mutter. In my room, I lock the deadbolt and the latch and still feel watched by the memory of the letter, by the weight of the ring against my sternum, by the shape of Rowan's attention lingering like a fingerprint. I shower too hot, scrub too hard. When I step out, my phone is buzzing on the nightstand. Unknown number. I answer without thinking. Hello. Silence. Then, a soft exhale. A man's voice, not Rowan's. Higher, lighter. Smiling. You brought him, the voice says. Every hair on my body rises. Who is this? I demand. You're very pretty when you're frightened, the voice replies. But I prefer you curious. My mouth goes dry. How did you get this number? A chuckle. Oh, Mara. You keep asking the wrong questions. The line clicks dead. My hands shake so badly I almost drop the phone. I bolt to the adjoining door and pound once, hard. Rowan opens immediately, like he was standing there. His gaze sweeps over me, wet hair, towel clutched too tight, skin flushed from the shower. His eyes darken, but he doesn't move closer. What happened? He asks, voice tight. Phone call, I say, breathless. Unknown number. He said I brought you. Rowan's jaw flexes. Yes, I snap. Don't look at me like that. Don't make me the crazy one. Rowan's gaze softens, not gentle, exactly. Focused. Protective in a way I don't want to need. Give me your phone, he says. I hesitate. Condition 3, everything he knows. Condition 2, no touching. But a phone isn't skin. I hand it over. Rowan scrolls, checks call logs, then looks up. They're close, he says. My stomach drops. Close to what? Rowan's eyes lift to the hallway, then back to me. Close to you, he says. A tremor runs through me. What do we do? Rowan steps into my room without touching me, his presence filling the space. He checks the window latch, the door, the closet, the bathroom, efficient, quiet, like he's done it 1,000 times. When he returns, he stops in front of me and holds my gaze. I'm going to sit in that chair, he says, pointing to the armchair by the window. In your room. All night. I stiffen. You said boundaries. You said no touching, he replies. You said no entering your home. This is a hotel. And I'm asking. He waits. My heartbeat thunders. The idea of him in my room should make me feel trapped. Instead it makes my lungs open a fraction, as if my body recognizes a stronger predator and relaxes because it believes the smaller one won't dare approach. That thought terrifies me more than the phone call did. Fine, I whisper. But you stay in the chair. Rowan's gaze holds mine. I will not cross a line you set. Then, softer, unless you ask. Heat crawls up my throat. I hate him a little for that. For putting the choice in my hands like a weapon I might turn on myself. Rowan sits in the chair, long legs angled, hands loose. He looks like a man waiting for dawn or a Confession. I climb into bed and turn off the lamp. In the dark, his voice comes low and quiet. Tell me about the ring, he says. I stare at the ceiling, heart in my throat. It makes me feel owned. Rowan is silent for a long moment. Then, by who? I don't know, I whisper. Rowan's voice is almost tender. Then we'll find out. Chapter 5. Storm Night. The next evening arrives heavy with clouds, the sky the color of bruises. Rain starts as a threat and becomes a fact. Rowan and I drive up the cliff road in his sedan, my car left at the hotel like a piece of my old life. I might come back for. The wipers beat time against the windshield. You're quiet, Rowan says. I'm thinking, I reply. What? I touch the ring beneath my sweater. If this is a trap, why give me options? Why letters? Why not just take it? Rowan's hands tighten on the wheel. Because it's not just about the object, he says. It's about you. My stomach twists. That's not reassuring. It's honest, Rowan says. Headlights sweep across wet trees, slick rock, the edge of the world falling away to black. Ocean. Then, through the rain, I see it. The salt glass house. It sits on the cliff like a statement. All tall windows and sharp angles, built to watch the sea and be watched back. Even in the storm, it gleams faintly, as if the glass is remembering daylight. There, Rowan says. My throat tightens. It's real. Rowan glances at me. Legends usually are. Just not in the way people think. We pull into a circular drive choked with weeds. The house looms close enough to make the car feel too small. Rowan turns off the engine. Silence swallows us, broken only by rain hammering metal. He looks at me, and in the dim dashboard light his expression is carved. We do this clean, he says. You follow my instructions. You don't improvise. I'm not your employee, I snap, because fear makes my pride loud. Rowan's gaze doesn't flinch. No, he agrees. You're the target. My pulse spikes. Rowan reaches into the glove box and pulls out an earpiece, small, discreet. I'm not wearing that, I say. It lets me hear you if you're not in sight, he replies. And it lets you hear me. I swallow. So you can tell me what to do. So I can tell you when to run, Rowan says. I stare at the earpiece. Then I take it. Rowan watches, and something in his face loosens, relief, maybe. Or pride. Like my compliance is a win. I hate that it feels like one in my body too. We step out into the storm. Rain hits like thrown gravel. Wind yanks at my hair. The house's front doors are double glass, with ironwork curled like vines. Rowan moves ahead, checking the perimeter, hand near his jacket. I don't see a weapon, but I feel one in the way he moves. He tries the door. Unlocked. Of course it's unlocked. We step inside. The air smells like salt and old wood and something faintly floral, perfume trapped in wallpaper. The foyer is vast, with a staircase splitting left and right like a decision. Lightning flashes through the tall windows, throwing white bones of light across the floor. My voice is small in the emptiness. Hello. Rowan's voice murmurs in my ear through the earpiece, though he's only a few steps away. Don't call out. Too late. A sound answers me, a soft click. Not a footstep. A lock. Behind us, the glass doors swing shut and latch. My heart slams. Rowan spins, checks them, then looks back at me. His face is calm, but his eyes have turned predatory. Stay behind me, he says. I obey, hate myself for it, and cling to it anyway. We move deeper, the storm roaring outside like it wants in. The house is furnished, covered. Sheets, dust, abandoned elegance. Someone has been here recently, though. I can feel it, the where you can feel a room that holds breath. In the center of the main hall, on a table, there's a single object. A second velvet box. My skin prickles. Rowan's hand lifts, stopping me. Wait. But my body pulls forward, drawn like a tide. I don't touch the box. I don't need to. The lid is slightly open, as if inviting. Inside is a photograph. Black and white. A young woman, early 20s, hair pinned up, wearing a dress that looks like it costs more than my car. She stands in front of this very house, smiling at the camera like she trusts it. And around her throat, on a chain, is the ring. My breath catches. Rowan leans close enough that his shoulder brushes mine, accidental, brief. Still, my skin remembers it like a brand. Who is she? I whisper. Rowan's voice is low. Eloan Vale. I look at him sharply. You know her. Rowan's jaw flexes. I know what happened to her. Before I can ask, a voice drifts from above. Careful, the voice sings. Truth is heavy. It dents pretty things. My blood turns to ice. A figure stands on the upper landing, half-shadowed. A man in a light coat, hair dark and wet at the edges like he walked through rain without caring. His face is handsome in a way that feels rehearsed. He smiles down at me as if we're old friends. Mara, he calls. You brought my key back. Rowan's body shifts, subtly placing himself between us. Step away from the railing, Rowan says, voice hard. Now. The man laughs softly. Rowan Hale, he says, savoring the name. I wondered when they'd send you. They didn't send me, Rowan replies. Oh. The man's smile widens. You came because you wanted to. Lightning flashes, and for an instant I see the man's eyes clearly, bright, delighted, wrong. He looks at me like I'm a story he's already read and is enjoying again. What do you want? I shout, voice shaking. The man tilts his head. You, he says simply, but not in the crude way you're imagining. My skin crawls. He descends the stairs slowly, one hand sliding along the banister like a lover. Rowan stays still, coiled. Dangerous. The man stops at the bottom step, rainwater dripping from his coat onto the floor. He looks at the ring beneath my sweater as if he can see it through fabric. You took what wasn't yours, he says softly. And it woke up hungry. I didn't steal it, I say, voice trembling. It was in a trunk. Oh, darling, he murmurs, almost kindly. You stole it the moment you hid it. Rowan's voice cuts through the air. Name. The man's smile turns sharp. Silas, he says. Silas Vale. My stomach drops. Eloan Vale, I whisper. Silas's eyes brighten. Yes, he purrs. You met her. I know, I stammer. Only a photo. Silas sighs theatrically, as if disappointed. Soon, then. Rowan's voice is steel. This ends. Silas looks at Rowan with delighted contempt. You think you're the hero, he says. But you're just another man who found something pretty and decided it needed you. Rowan's jaw tightens. Silas's gaze slides back to me. He watches you, doesn't he? He asks, almost conversational. He tells himself it's for your safety. Heat floods my face, anger, humiliation, something darker. Rowan's voice is low. Mara, don't listen. Silas chuckles. Tell her how many nights, he says. Tell her how many times you stood outside her building and made yourself the answer to a question she hadn't asked yet. Rowan's silence is an admission. My breath catches. Rowan. His gaze flicks to me, guilt, warning, something fierce. Silas spreads his hands. See, he says softly. He and I aren't so different. Rowan's voice drops, controlled and dangerous. We are nothing alike. Silas steps closer, and Rowan moves too, matching him. Predator meets predator, and I am the line between them. Silas's gaze locks on mine. Give me the ring, he says, voice gentle. And I'll stop. Stop what? I demand. Silas's smile turns intimate, conspiratorial. Stop making you feel like the world is a door that won't lock. My stomach turns. Rowan's voice is a growl. Don't. Silas's eyes don't leave mine. You're tired, he says. You want it to end. Give it to me. My fingers rise to the chain at my throat. Rowan's hand lifts, stops, remembering my rule. He doesn't touch me, but his voice in my ear is raw. Mara, he murmurs, do not give him anything. I swallow hard. If I don't, he'll keep coming, I whisper. Rowan's eyes burn. So will I. Silas laughs softly. There it is, he says. The obsession. How sweet. My hands tremble around the chain. Then I do something that surprises all of us. I pull the ring out from under my sweater and hold it up in the stormlit air. Both men's gazes snap to it like magnets. My voice steadies, cold as the sea. You want it, I say. Then tell me what it is. Silas's smile falters for the first time. Rowan goes very still. Silas's eyes flick to Rowan, then back to me. It's a promise, he says carefully. A vow made in blood. Rowan's voice is harsh. Mara. No, I snap, not looking at him. He's going to tell me. Silas steps forward, hands open. Eloan wore it, he says softly. She loved it. She loved what? It meant. What did it mean? I demand. Silas's gaze is bright. That she belonged, he says. My stomach heaves. Rage flashes. I don't belong to anyone, I say. Silas's smile returns, gentle and awful. Everyone belongs to someone, he whispers. The question is whether they admit it. Rowan's voice in my ear is low and lethal. Run. I don't run. I step back, lifting the ring higher. You said you'd stop, I say to Silas. If I give it to you. Silas nods, too eager. Yes. I look at Rowan. His eyes are locked on mine, and in them I see a truth he didn't want to hand me. He does want me. Not only safe, not only alive, wanted. It should disgust me. Instead, it lights something in my chest like a match struck in the dark. Rowan, I say, voice shaking but clear. Don't touch me. A flicker of pain crosses his face. Then he nods once. Okay. I turn back to Silas. And I throw the ring, not to him. Past him. Across the hall. It clatters on the wooden floor and skids under a covered table. Silas's smile dies. Rowan moves like violence given permission. He lunges, grabs Silas's wrist, twists. There's a sharp sound, pain, bone, something giving. Silas hisses, face warping, but then he laughs through it, eyes wild. You think this is over, he spits. Rowan's voice is ice. It is for you. Silas jerks back, ripping free, and slams his shoulder into Rowan. They collide hard, knocking into furniture, the covered sheets billowing like ghosts. I stumble backward, heart in my throat. Where's the key? Silas snarls, eyes frantic now. Where is it? Rowan's gaze flicks to me, warning. Too late. Silas follows it. His eyes lock on my pocket, where the bronze key is hidden. He smiles again, breathless. There, he whispers. He charges. Rowan intercepts him, but Silas is fast and desperate. He feints left, then darts right, straight at me. My body locks. Silas grabs my arm. His grip is cold, excited. I scream not from pain, but from the certainty of being claimed. Rowan's voice breaks into the room like thunder. Let her go. Silas leans close, mouth near my ear. Tell him to stop. He breathes. Tell him you choose me. Rowan's eyes are feral. In that instant, I understand something sick and simple. Silas wants me as an object. Rowan wants me as a person his decided matters. Neither is safe. But only one is real. I spit in Silas's face. He recoils with a hiss of shock and disgust. I slam my knee up hard into his thigh, clumsy, fueled by panic. Silas stumbles. Rowan is on him immediately, yanking him away from me and throwing him into the wall with a sound like furniture breaking. Silas slides down, laughing even as he winces. Oh, he pants, wiping his face. You're perfect. Rowan stands over him, chest heaving. Call it off, Rowan says. Silas coughs, grinning. Can't, he says. It's already in motion. Rowan's eyes flash. Then I end you. Silas's gaze flicks to the staircase. You can try, he whispers. And then a second figure appears at the upper landing. Not a man. A woman. For a heartbeat, I think it's the woman from the photograph, Eloan veil, hair pinned, throat ringed. But it's not a ghost. It's a projection. A screen lit from behind, a recorded video playing on a hanging sheet, the image wavering with the storm's flicker. Eloan's face fills the space. Her eyes stare straight down at me. Her voice, crackling with age, warped by old recording echoes. If you're seeing this, Eloan says, then he didn't let me go. Silas's smile is pure hunger. Rowan's body goes still. And I realize the truth is older than any of us. The ring isn't a promise. It's a trap. Chapter 6. Eloan's confession. The recorded Eloan speaks like she's talking to someone she knows will come after her, like she's leaving breadcrumbs in a forest that already burned. My name is Eloan Vale, the projection says, eyes bright with fear and resolve. This house is not haunted. It's worse. It's owned. Silas sits against the wall, watching me watch her like it's entertainment. Rowan's attention flicks between Silas and the projection, calculating. Eloan continues, voice trembling. My husband, Silas, collects people. Not bodies. Lives. He chooses what shines, and then he puts it behind glass. My skin turns to ice. Silas chuckles softly, unbothered by the accusation. Eloan's recorded gaze shifts as if she's listening to someone off-screen. She flinches. If you found the ring, she says quickly, do not wear it. Do not keep it close. It is a marker. It tells him where you are. It tells him you're his next. The recording distorts with a crackle. The image wavers. Rowan's gaze snaps to me. The ring, he says. My fingers go to my throat. My breath comes fast. I thought it was just metal can be made to carry things, Rowan says, voice tight. Old tech. New tech. Doesn't matter. It's a beacon. Silas laughs. He figured it out, he says, voice bright with approval. Good boy. Rowan's face hardens. Eloan's voice steadies again. If you're watching this, then you're already being watched, she says. You feel it. The way attention sticks to your skin. My stomach twists because she's right. Eloan's eyes fill with tears. I tried to leave, she whispers. He brought me back. He said I belonged. And I believed him until believing became a cage. Rowan's jaw tightens like he's biting down on something violent. Silas's smile goes dreamy, like nostalgia. Eloan inhales shakily. There is a key, she says. If you have it, you can open the salt room. In the cellar. Behind the third door. My pocket feels suddenly heavy, poisonous. Eloan's gaze turns fierce. Don't go alone, she says. Don't go with him. Her eyes flick briefly, like she's looking at Silas off camera. Go with someone who doesn't want to own you, she says, voice breaking. Someone who Wants you alive more than they want you obedient. The image stutters. Then a Rowan whispers, if you free what's in the salt room, the house will finally stop hungry. The recording cuts to static. Silence crashes down. Rain pounds the windows. The storm feels like it's listening. Silas pushes himself to his feet slowly, wincing but smiling. She always did love drama, he says. Makes her more believable. I stare at him, horrified. What did you do to her? Silas's gaze flicks to me with delighted intimacy. I loved her, he says. That's not an answer, I spit. Silas's smile thins. It is to me. Rowan takes a step toward him. Silas lifts his hands. He says lightly. Temper. I'm not your problem. Rowan's voice is a low threat. You are. Silas's eyes gleam. No, he corrects. I'm her problem. His gaze locks on me. If you want the letters to stop, he says softly, you bring me the key. My hand curls around the bronze in my pocket. Rowan's voice is close to my ear. Don't. Silas spreads his hands. If you don't, he continues, I'll keep peeling your life open until there's nothing private left. Friends. Work. Sleep. Every locked door you love will become a suggestion. My throat tightens. Then he says the thing that makes my blood freeze. And when you finally break, Silas murmurs, you'll come to me voluntarily. Because it will feel like relief. Rowan's breath turns rough. I look at Rowan. He's right, I whisper. It would feel like relief. That's what scares me. Rowan's gaze pins me, fierce, grounded. Then we don't let him set the terms, he says. My hands shake. How? Rowan nods once toward the staircase, toward the darkness beyond the hall. We go to the cellar, he says. We open the salt room. Silas laughs, delighted. Yes, he says. Go on. I stare at him. You want us to. Silas's smile sharpens. I want you to choose, he whispers. Because choice makes the cage stronger. Rowan's voice is hard. Mara. Eyes on me. I force my gaze to him. Rowan's expression is controlled, but his eyes are burning with something that feels like a vow. I won't let him have you, Rowan says, quiet and absolute. The words hit my chest with a dangerous warmth. Because part of me wants to believe them. And part of me knows belief is how cages start. Still, when Rowan reaches out his hand, stopping short of touching me, offering instead, I step into the space and lace my fingers through his. Consent. With teeth. Rowan's hand closes around mine like a promise he intends to keep. Stay behind me, he says. I squeeze his hand once. Only if you stay where I can see you. A flicker of something almost like a smile. Deal, Rowan says. We move toward the cellar door. Behind us, Silas's laughter follows like a lullaby for nightmares. Chapter 7. The Salt Room. The cellar stairs are narrow, the air colder with each step. The house feels older down here, less curated, more honest. Rowan's hand stays in mine until we reach the bottom, then he releases me with a glance that asks permission. I nod. He moves ahead. The corridor is lined with doors. 1, 2, 3. Rowan pauses at the third. The key, he murmurs. I pull the bronze key from my pocket. My fingers are slick with sweat. I hand it to him. Rowan's hand brushes mine, accidental, brief, but my body sparks anyway. He slides the key into the lock. It turns with a soft, reluctant click. Rowan opens the door. The smell hits first, salt. Not like food. Like ocean air concentrated into something metallic and raw. The room beyond is lined with white, salt-crusting walls, floor, ceiling, as if the sea tried to claim the house from the inside and someone fought back with crystallized fury. In the center is a chair. Wooden. Old. And on the chair, bolted through the arms, is an iron restraint system that makes my stomach lurch. Rowan's breath goes tight. On the salt-stained wall behind the chair, words are carved, ragged, desperate. If you love him, run. If you hate him, stay. My throat closes. Eloan, I whisper. Rowan steps closer, eyes scanning. This isn't a prison, he says. It is, I whisper. Rowan's voice turns grim. It's a stage. The salt crunches under our shoes. The room feels charged, like it's holding a breath. Then I see it, tucked in a corner, half buried in salt, a small metal box. Rowan crouches, careful, and pries it open. Inside is a phone. Old. And a stack of memory cards. Rowan's eyes narrow. Evidence, he murmurs. A sound behind us makes my blood freeze. Footsteps on the cellar stairs. Slow. Applause, soft, mocking. Silas appears in the doorway, leaning against the frame like he owns the air. Beautiful, isn't it? He says. She was always so expressive. Rowan stands, body blocking the box from Silas's view. It's over, Rowan says. We have what we need. Silas smiles. Do you, he asks. Or do you have what I want? His gaze locks on me. And do you know the best part, Mara, he murmurs. You came anyway. Even after the warnings. My skin crawls. Because I'm not a coward, I snap. Silas's smile turns pleased. Exactly, he whispers. You're not a coward. You're curious. He steps into the salt room. Rowan shifts, blocking him. Don't, Rowan says, voice deadly. Silas lifts his hands, innocent. Relax, he says. I'm not here to fight. Rowan doesn't move. Silas's gaze slides past him to me, and his voice turns almost tender. I'm here to offer you a trade, he says. What trade? I demand. Silas nods toward Rowan. Him, he says. Rowan's jaw tightens. Silas continues, give me Rowan, and I let you walk out. Ring, key, everything. You keep it. I disappear. My stomach drops. No. Rowan's voice is low. Mara. Silas's eyes gleam. He won't tell you this part, he murmurs. He wasn't hired to protect you. He was hired to retrieve the ring quietly. The board didn't want scandal. They wanted the problem gone. I look at Rowan, betrayed, heat rising. Rowan's gaze doesn't flinch. Yes, he says. My chest tightens. So you lied. Rowan's voice is rough. I didn't tell you everything. That's lying, I snap, tears hot with rage. Rowan takes a step closer, stops before touching. Mara, he says, and his voice is the closest thing to pleading I've heard from him. When I realized what Silas was doing, I stayed because I couldn't walk away. Silas sighs dramatically. Obsession, he murmurs. It's a disease, isn't it? Rowan's gaze cuts to Silas, lethal. You don't get to name what I feel. Silas smiles. Why not? He asks. Because you want it to sound noble? Rowan's voice turns quiet. Because mine has rules. Silas's grin widens. Rules are just cages you build for yourself, he says. And you're getting tired. My breath shakes. I look at Rowan. Is he right? I whisper. Is it obsession? Rowan's eyes hold mine. Yes, he says simply. The honesty hits like a slap and a relief at the same time. Rowan continues, voice steady. But obsession doesn't mean ownership, he says. It means focus. It means I choose to act on the part of me that protects you, not the part that wants to lock you away. Silas laughs softly. Pretty words, he says. Will you believe him, Mara? My heart pounds. Then I realize something. Silas wants me to doubt Rowan because doubt isolates. Doubt makes me easier to take. I wipe my wet eyes with the back of my hand and stare at Silas with cold clarity. You don't want the ring, I say. Silas's smile falters. You want the feeling, I continue. You want someone to look at you like you're inevitable. Silas's expression turns sharp. Rowan's gaze flicks to me, something fierce and proud in it. Silas takes a step toward me. Careful, he warns. I don't back up. You asked me to choose, I say, voice steady. Fine. I point at the chair with restraints. I choose not to be on your stage, I say. Then I step to Rowan's side, close enough that my shoulder brushes his. Silas's eyes darken. Rowan's breath catches at the contact, but he doesn't move. I keep my voice clear. And I choose someone whose rules include my consent, I say. Silas's face twists, rage flashing hot and fast. Consent, he spits, disgusted. You think that word makes you powerful. It makes me free, I reply. Silas lunges. Rowan moves faster. The fight is brutal and short. Rowan drives Silas back, slamming him into the salt-crusted wall. Salt explodes into the air like white smoke. Silas claws at Rowan's jacket, frantic, trying to reach inside. Rowan grabs his wrist and twists hard. A metallic clatter hits the floor. A small device, black, blinking, skitters across the salt. Rowan's eyes lock on it. Tracker, he snarls. My stomach flips. Silas laughs through gritted teeth. Told you, he gasps. The ring calls to me. Rowan slams Silas down to his knees. Where is she? Rowan demands. Silas's grin is bloodless. Everywhere, he whispers. In the walls. In the glass. In you. Rowan's fist tightens. I step forward, voice shaking with fury. Where is Aloan? I repeat. Silas's eyes flick to me, delighted even now. In the sea, he says softly. Where salt belongs. My vision tunnels. Rowan's breath goes ragged. And then Rowan does something that terrifies me more than violence. He stops. He releases Silas like his poison. Rowan turns his head slightly, eyes on me. I'm going to cross a line, he says, voice tight. Not with you. With him. I swallow hard. My hands tremble. Rowan's eyes search mine. Tell me no, he says. And I won't. The moment is electric. Power offered instead of taken. I stare at Silas, smiling, cruel, unrepentant. And I think of every letter. Every lock that didn't feel like enough. I look back at Rowan. Don't kill him, I whisper. Rowan's jaw tightens, but he nods once. Okay. Then, with controlled violence, Rowan grabs Silas and wrenches his arms behind him, restraining him with zip ties from his pocket like he's been ready for this all along. Silas laughs, breathless. Good boy, he taunts. Rowan leans close to Silas's ear. His voice is quiet enough that I barely hear it. You don't get to touch her world again, Rowan says. Not even with words. Silas's smile wavers. For the first time, he looks uncertain. Rowan lifts the small black tracker device from the salt and crushes it under his boot. The blinking stops. The silence that follows feels like a door finally clicking shut. Chapter 8. After the storm. We leave the salt glass house with Silas bound and gagged, shoved into the trunk of Rowan's car like a problem the law will finally be forced to acknowledge. The storm is still raging, but it feels less personal now, like weather instead of fate. Rowan drives one-handed, the other steady on the wheel, eyes hard and awake. I sit rigid in the passenger seat, the ring cold in my palm. We don't speak until city lights reappear through the rain, smeared and trembling. What happens now? I ask. Rowan's voice is low. I deliver him, he says. To people who can put him where he can't reach you. The police? I ask, skeptical. Rowan's mouth tightens. A task force, he says. Silas isn't just a local monster. He's a network. His money. His connections. My stomach twists. And the board? Rowan exhales sharply. They'll deny everything. They'll pretend they didn't know. But the evidence we found, memory cards, recordings, will make it hard for them to bury. I stare at the ring in my hand. Rowan glances at it. We destroy it, he says. Something in me resists. Not because I want it. Because I hate that it marked me. I hate that I wore it without knowing. I hate that it made me feel chosen even when the choice wasn't mine. Rowan's voice softens slightly. You don't have to keep anything that hurt you, he says. My throat tightens. What about you? I whisper. Rowan's gaze flicks to me, careful. What about me? You watched me, I say. You broke into my life. Rowan's jaw tightens. Yes. You scared me, I say, voice cracking. And you made me feel safe. Which is worse. Because it makes me want you. Rowan's breath catches. He keeps his eyes on the road like looking at me would be too dangerous.